The results of the identification came back, and a boy and I were held together by mistake for 20 years. My parents, who are now real estate moguls, found out that their child was actually a son and hugged me in tears. Sweetheart, don't go back. Okay? We can't bear to see you go. My biological parents, who are the leading jewelry moguls, cried tears of joy when they learned that their baby was actually a daughter, and couldn't wait to hug me back. Oh my goodness! I can't believe I let my baby girl miss us for so many years. In the middle of the night, the boy I was mistaken with rolled into my room and spoke like a rascal. I'm homeless. You have to take me in. At the beginning of my sophomore year of college, I was forced by my roommate to join a sorority. During the meeting, everyone was playing Truth or Dare. The campus queen was unfortunately chosen, and the crowd coaxed her to hit on the most handsome guy in the bar. Following the direction of their fingers, I looked at the opposite card table. Obviously there are several guys, but my eyes immediately locked on the one sitting in the center. The group was surrounded by beautiful women, but none of them seemed to get near him. He had a cigarette loosely chewed in his mouth, and the smoke lingered, making it hard to see his face. But with his body temperament, people immediately concluded that he is definitely a high-quality man and a little difficult to get along with. Campus Queen stood up and organized her hairstyle, with a shy expression on her face. First of all, I don't necessarily want to be on the social media. After all, he has a lot of people chasing after him. Campus Queen's little follower immediately retorted. What are you talking about? Ruwashi, you're so pretty. How can you not get it? Don't be so modest. Campus Queen's smile widened. Emma. Don't talk nonsense. I'm going. Go Ruwashi. Ruwashi, give us a sample. Sophia dawdled for more than a minute in the short distance and finally approached. She blushed and spoke. You. Hello. May I have your social media? Her voice was whiny. The surrounding boys watched and coaxed. The boy who was the main character had a cigarette in his mouth, and he didn't give Sophia a single glance. He just ignored her. Sophia as a campus queen plus every time she intentionally or unintentionally revealed which group's daughter she was. So wherever she went, she was sought after. This kind of coldness was absolutely unprecedented. For a moment she stood awkwardly in place, red-faced, explaining, "Classmate, don't get me wrong. I lost playing Truth or Dare. That's why I'm here to ask you for social media. Can you give it to me? Otherwise I'll be punished when I go back." Hearing this, the boy raised his eyebrows slightly and his measuring eyes fell on Sophia. For a moment, Sophia's anger disappeared, and she felt more and more embarrassed. The boy let out a softly. The accent of his words carried a plotting tone. A bit ugly. Really can't give it to me. Sophia couldn't control her facial expression any longer and came back in anger. The little follower was busy consoling her. Ruwashi, don't be sad. Those guys don't belong to our school. They don't even know you. They don't have the eyes for you. They're also so fierce looking. Which is totally not the same as us. Sophia's face looked a little bit better as the comforting voices came and went. The game continued. And after one round, I was the chosen one. I threw my playing cards on the table and leaned back. I choose Dare. Sophia's little follower looked at me and gloated. Olivia, you go get that guy and ask for social media again. There was silence for a split second before clapping erupted and the crowd echoed. That's a great idea. Exciting. Mo? Play me? My roommate was the first to disagree. Clapping. What do you mean? Sophia just made a fool out of herself once. And you want us, Olivia, to make a fool out of ourselves? I looked at my agitated roommate and silently pulled her down to sit down. For no other reason than I was afraid of her dry humping. What? Olivia can't play? Our Ruwashi is the one who says shall go. As soon as the words came out of her mouth, a lot of people responded. Sophia had just asked for it. And she had clearly refused. So it would be rude to ask for it again. According to that boy's attitude, he would only be rejected even worse. I kind of understand. This is to let me make a fool of myself to cover up the matter Sophia just did. Looking at their bitchy expressions. My roommate was furious. I let out a TSK and got up with my glass in hand. Making my way across the room to the card table under the gaze of a crowd of people. The boys around him looked at me and cajoled louder. Shing. Another one. Ah. Today's peach blossoms are extraordinarily abundant, eh? Right. It's still our Shing who has charisma. He just comes out to relax. And the girls are lining up to hit on him. Behind me. Sophia's group was waiting to see my joke. I thought. I'm here now. I can't lose face. So I raised my glass in a casual manner. Handsome guy. It'll give you a chance to get to know me. How about a drink? If it is convenient to add a social media? I regretted when I finished my speech. What's this all about? I didn't play well. And I sounded like an overconfident woman. I was expecting to be rejected. But who knew that the boy's eyes deepened a few points. In the crowd's surprised gaze. Extinguished the cigarette. Raised his hand to take the wine in my hand. Tilted his head and drank it all in one go. There was residual liquor slipping from the corners of his mouth. Sliding down the knot of his throat and into the collar of his shirt. I gulped. I didn't mean to ask him to drink from my glass. The boy's friend was even more surprised. Shing. Don't you have a cleanliness fetish? Things are not going right. I do not know how to react for a moment. Boy seemed not to hear his friend's question in general. Raised his eyes and my eyes. Thin lips slightly hooked. Lazy low voice fell. You sweep me or I sweep you? Said. Long fingers out of the cell phone in front of me. I just reacted to what he said as to add social media. So simple? I was busy pulling out my cell phone. You sweep me. When I got back to the card table I was still dizzy. Feeling the hot side of my roommate I reacted to the fact that I had grown a big face. I coughed a few times. It's not a dare. It's easy. Sophia's little follower spoke up in disbelief. Why? Ruashi didn't even get it. But you did? Sophia's face darkened to the point of dripping ink. And her roommate looked smug. What else could it be? It's just because our Olivia is good-looking. And handsome men like her. I held her down and sat down. If she had a tail, it would be up in the air right now. Stop it. Let's continue the game. The next person chosen is Sophia's little follower. She picks dare too. Interesting. I looked at her with my chin propped up and said absently. Kiss the soul of the person on your left for 1 minute. Instantly. The booth went silent. Sophia, who was sitting to the left of her little follower, looked up at me incredulously. I don't agree. The little follower's shivering hand tried to reach for the wine. But I raised my hand to cover the mouth of the glass. Raised an eyebrow and spoke leisurely. Ruashi won't be able to afford to play. Will she? By the time the game was over it was already dark. And the people in the adjacent booths had all left. I got up with them to settle the bill. Sophia elegantly placed a card on the bar. I'll pay for it. The little follower looked adoring. Ruashi. You're so nice. You're paying again. It's okay. We're all unemployed and don't have a lot of money to live on. So I'll pay for it. Before Sophia could finish her sentence, she was interrupted by the staff at the counter. I'm sorry. Ms. Lin. Your card limit is insufficient. Sophia reddened from the tips of her ears to her neck. Oh. I remember. It must be because I bought too many bags this month. So I was limited. For a while. Everyone looked at me and I looked at you. I couldn't hold back my laughter and waved my hand at the gazes everyone threw at me. Sorry. I just couldn't hold it back. With that, I handed a card to the staff. Swipe this card. It's on me. I ignored Sophia's increasingly grudging eyes. Took back the card and led my roommate out the door. Today was really a big show. There was a black motorcycle parked in front of the bar. A tall figure leaning lazily against the car. The dim streetlights cutting the shadows on the ground, revealing a sense of danger. A cigarette was clutched in his hand. The sparks especially visible in the night. There was a wind blowing through. The boy's hair was blown a little messy. But it did not affect his face value at all, but added a touch of demonic sense. It was the boy from the bar just now. And he hadn't even left yet. My sixth sense told me that he was a bit dangerous. So I pretended not to see him, intending to walk right past him. The boy shook off the ashes of his cigarette and spoke slowly. Ding Xiaolime. You want me to social media and you don't agree with my friend request? Playing with me? He knew my nickname. What's going on? I met the boy's light brown eyes, trying to see something strange in his eyes. I was more and more sure that this guy was dangerous. So I forced myself to explain. You know, it's just a dare. We're all just messing around. Don't take it seriously. The boy snorted lightly, threw the cigarette on the ground and stomped it out with his foot. The corner of his mouth hooked with a bad smile. Very well. Ding Xiaolime. We'll have to meet again next time. At that time, I didn't understand the meaning of his words and thought he was just joking. Until a DNA report was delivered to my house. Mr. Ding. Mr. Ding. The housekeeper ran in with a list in a slight panic, almost losing his wig. His father, who was sitting on the sofa reading the newspaper, only looked up at him and shook the newspaper before speaking nonchalantly. What's all the panic about? The land in the western suburb was robbed? The butler gasped. No. It's not that. Dad laughed. Then what is it that warrants such panic? Old Chen. You should be someone who has seen the world. The housekeeper looked at me with an odd expression and a difficult face. It's not a good thing to talk about. It's better for you, Mr. Ding, to come and see for yourself. Dad didn't care much about it and got up, mumbling what could be the matter, and smoothly took the list in the butler's hand. So, I witnessed my dad's expression change from shock to disbelief to grief. At that moment, Mom and I were sitting together studying nail art. When she saw Mr. Davis' face, Mom smoothed out her freshly permed curls and got up slowly. What's the big deal that you're looking like that? Are you broke? It's okay. My mom's family still has money. Don't worry. But when Mrs. Davis received the bill, her face froze and she slowly fell to the floor. My right eyelid jumped. And I stood up. Mom. What's wrong? What happened? Hearing my voice, Mom cried loudly as if she had opened a valve, and looked at me with fuzzy eyes. Sweetheart. Life played a crucial joke. I quickly picked up the 2 sheets on the ground and froze in place when I saw what was on them. These were 2 DNA paternity tests. One showed that the probability of my relationship with 2 strangers was 99.9991%. The other showed a 99.9991% probability that a boy named Liam was related to Mr. and Mrs. Davis. The sheets fluttered from my hands and I couldn't believe it. Was this a hugging mistake? What in heaven's name is a 1% chance that I've stumbled upon? I don't believe it. I violently reached out and grabbed the butler's arm. Uncle Chen. Where did you get this? It was given to me by a tall boy. Probably about your age, miss. But he wore a black baseball cap. I didn't get a good look at him. I chased after Uncle Chen before he could finish. The man might still be there. But as soon as I went out, I heard someone outside the courtyard gate vociferously calling my name. Liv. The security guard was fighting to stop them. It was an elegantly dressed middle-aged man and woman. The woman was well-maintained. Her skin was soft. And she wore a plain cheongsam with her hair pulled back with a hairpin. The moment she saw me, the woman's eyes lit up. And when she looked closely, she seemed to have tears in her eyes. It's really her daughter. It's the daughter of Milk Hoo. Suddenly, they broke through the security guards and came to me, hugging me and crying like a TV picture of a long goodbye reunion. The middle-aged man in a suit hugged me and the woman in his arms and burst into tears. Reunited. Our family is finally reunited. Me. M.O.? Their limousine was still parked outside the courtyard gate. And from their mere words I probably knew that they were my real parents. It was Xia, the jewelry seller, who seemed to be a bit powerful. The sun was a little too high. I squinted slightly. My eyes fixed on a large tree outside the courtyard. The dense branches and leaves cast a shadow. And a familiar figure leaned there. A mischievous smile hanging at the corner of his mouth. Playing with a silver-colored shell lighter in his hand. The action casually thrown lightly to the air and fell and caught. Leaving a perfect arc. White tee plus black baseball cap. Obviously very clean dress. But he wore out a kind of gangster. It was Liam. Wasn't it? That kid was the other name on the report card. Liam. So that's what he meant when he said see you again outside the bar the other day. I was going to call out to him. But as if he had a sense. He just looked up at me and walked away. In the living room, 2 men and 2 women were staring at each other with awkward smiles on their faces. And I was the only link between them. My biological parents told me that they knew it was a girl when they were pregnant with me. But it was a boy when they gave birth. The doctor told them that the fetus was in the wrong position and the umbilical cord was caught between their legs, covering the gender marker. So the baby was mistaken for a girl when they were examined. At the time, they were expecting a little princess at home. So they bought everything in pink. And even prepared the supplies for when the child was 10 years old. The reality was a young man. Now a pro boxer. Who spends his days boxing at home. A far cry from the little princess they had in mind. Mr. and Mrs. Davis thought they were going to have a young man. But it turned out to be a milky little princess. And they were so happy that they didn't even look into it. And put me on the tip of their heart. In fact, your son is very handsome. Or pro boxer. Won the gold medal. Mr. Ding. You should admit it. So that we can reunite with our baby girl. Mr. Davis has not yet spoken. Mrs. Davis cannot sit still. Personally poured a cup of tea. Mr. Sia, where are your words? That's your son. Your son is even more handsome. But also not as beautiful as my sweetheart. No one was allowed to do anything. And they were at a standstill. Mr. and Mrs. Davis couldn't let go of me. And the biological parents couldn't wait to send Liam back. So the problem was not solved and the birth parents stayed at the house. Both women were fighting to sleep with me. And I strongly said no. In the middle of the night, there was a slight noise coming from the window and someone rolled into my room. I was busy sitting up. The man saw me, found him, also did not panic. Lazy sitting on the sofa in my room. What are you doing here? Liam gave me a look. Took the baseball cap off his head and spoke roguishly. Now that I'm homeless, you have to take me in. Did you do that appraisal report? You already know me? Liam tapped his knuckles on the desktop. Looking lazy and careless. Not stupid. I gave him a blank look. Thanks. That shit's obvious enough. What the hell are you up to? Liam didn't tell me the answer. He just hooked his lips. You'll find out tomorrow. He was playing with my appetite again. And it kind of made sense. After a short silence, I didn't hold back and asked him. What did you actually do? Why are you so unpopular in the Sia family? Liam raised his eyebrows. His expression indebted. What? Heartache me? Heh. I think too much. When I woke up the next day, Liam was gone. I yawned and went downstairs, where 4 people were seated at the table waiting for me. Mrs. Davis took my hand. Sweetheart. Mom has been thinking all night. And guess what? Mom came up with the best of both worlds. Your own mother agrees. I suddenly had a bad feeling. What is it? Mrs. Davis slapped my hand and said happily. Marriage. Just get married. I've seen it. Liam's a good-looking kid. And he's a pro boxer. How cool is that? My mother, who I only recognized yesterday, nodded. Yes. Although Liam is not good enough for you. This is really the best of both worlds. Lime. Why don't you get engaged first? So that both of us can be your mom? What do you think? I was just about to reply not so good when the door to the living room was pushed open. I think it's a good idea. It's feasible. A nice male voice interjected. I turned my head and Liam walked in carrying hot steamed dumplings. Emotionally going to get breakfast. I gritted my teeth. Is that what you're after? Liam gently put the steamed dumplings down. And thanks to Mrs. Davis for thinking with me. It's true that they are kindred spirits. Mother and son. I wanted to strongly refuse. But looking at the two women's slightly begging eyes, I held my jaw. It's okay. Before the words were finished, Mrs. Davis and my own mother excitedly pulled each other's hands. In-laws. We will be in-laws from now on. Yes. 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 We'll be able to raise both of our kids. Thanks to Liam. I really appreciate it. I interrupted them. First things first. Just promise to keep it quiet for now. I don't want it to be too high profile. The news of the marriage of the two leaders of the real estate and jewelry industry was definitely a hot topic. My picture would be all over the place. And I wouldn't be able to have a normal college life. But Mrs. Davis and my own mother didn't care. It's fine. It's good to be married. It's good to be married. I eased my eyes to Liam. You're okay with that, right? Liam gave me a steamed dumpling and lazily said, as you wish. After breakfast, Mrs. Davis insisted Liam to take me to school, saying that it's to cultivate our relationship. I had no choice but to shrug it off. No. I'll drive myself. Mrs. Davis retorted. No need to drive. Walking together is so romantic. She took away the keys to my favorite car. 2. Romantic? Romantic my ass. All the way to the car. I kicked the stones without talking to Liam. Suddenly, a cold touch hit my neck. Liam's calloused hand cupped my neck and lifted me to his right hand. That's a lot of strength for him. I rubbed my neck. What? Liam put his hands in his pockets and looked at me lightly. Why do you walk outside if you love to daze? Are you afraid of being hit by a car? Don't make a move. I only gave my verbal consent to our engagement. Don't think we're done with this. Liam raised his eyebrows and leaned in slightly. What? You don't like me? I smiled coldly. I don't think I'd like your skinny body. Before the words were spoken, I began to uncontrollably marvel at the touch under my hands. Biceps. Abs. You this. Liam took my hand and placed it directly on his arm and stomach. I could clearly feel the tightness of the muscles and abs through my shirt. Liam's hands were huge and mine were pitifully small compared to his. The veins bulged slightly and it was as if I could clearly feel the throbbing of his veins. What to do? Kind of sexy. I mumbled something. Yeah. You're a boxer, eh? What a great body. Perhaps laughing at my reaction, Liam let out a low chuckle and spoke indifferently. Satisfied? It's a perk for you in advance. The atmosphere became ambiguous. What are you doing on the street? It's a sin. Flirty. I've got a worse impression of him. Liam. You're so handsome. There are plenty of girls who like you. You've got a lot of chasers. Right? If getting engaged to me is your goal, what are you after? I tried to persuade him. But Liam hooked his lips and spoke faintly. Obviously. I want you. I didn't understand. Why is that? We didn't know each other before. We don't know each other. Wouldn't it be too hasty to just look at the face? Liam's light brown eyes looked straight at me. You don't know me? How do you know you don't know each other? I also know that you received a love letter from a little kid under the third big tree in front of your school on the day you graduated from middle school and smiled and gave a thank you. Don't know? Ding Shaolime. I know you better than anyone else. Don't pull the not getting acquainted routine with me. I backed away in surprise. It was horrible. Liam had found out so much about me. Scary man. I forced myself to calm down. But you're too late. I already have someone else in mind. Liam froze for a moment. His handsome face became gloomy. Gritted his teeth. Who is it? Which man again? I would like to say the name. But I only know a nickname of that man, and especially cannot take it. Who do you care who he is? He's very different from you anyway. He's a little chubby guy and very cute. With that said, I was about to step forward because Liam's face was just horrible. Just as I took a step, my hand was yanked back by Liam. A flash of chagrin flashed across his face. Don't you like skinny people? When did you like fat guys again? You're so fickle. Me. Liam left in a fit of anger. Not even touching the threshold of my school and mouthing off about sending me back to school. To this day, I still don't understand why he was angry. When he left, he said, "I'll think of something." I was left alone, lost in the wind. For the next few days, I didn't hear from Liam, and I went about my business, not taking his words seriously. It wasn't until I ran into him at a place only Fatty and I knew about that I finally peeled off his vest. That day, he was standing in front of a wall full of chalk drawings with a lollipop in his mouth and his hands in his pockets. This is a secret base that only little Fatty and I know. And the moment I saw him, I figured it all out. Heh. Half the time he was playing me. I called out to him tentatively. "Liam?" His body stiffened instantly and he turned around with slow movements. When he saw it was me, he already had the tendency to run. Without thinking about it, I shouted at him. "Max!" There was panic in his eyes as he tried to explain to me. "I'm not Max. How could I be Max?" But his red, dripping ears gave him away. I laughed coldly. "Heh. Disappeared without a word for a few years. And now that you've lost a few dozen pounds and come back you're out of it. Paternity test. Engagement. And so drag. What? You acting drama? Now that the little fat man has become a handsome man. He is playing this game for me. But you are so proud of it." Liam whispers. "I'm not being a jerk." At this moment, he was no longer as frivolous as he was when we met a few days ago. And his gangsterism was completely removed. I was furious. Okay. Let's say I fed my heart to a dog. I turned around and said, "I'm not a tugger." Said I will turn around and want to leave. Just step out. His hand was pulled by him. He lowered his head to surrender. Voice low. "I was wrong. Don't be angry. I shouldn't act cocky. I thought you liked this kind of type of me." Liam looked like a big, wounded dog, making me half as angry as I was. I was just about to say something when a raspy to hard-to-hear voice, like a mouthful of old phlegm stuck in a mouthful, interjected from the mouth of the alley, sounding like a child in the middle of a voice change. "Yo. Who's this?" Liam and I turned around at the same time. At the entrance of the alley stood 3 non-mainstream punks. Obviously they are not good. Liam's aura became stern and he pulled me behind him. His tone was light. "Who am I? You still don't know?" The punk's face was impatient. "Who the hell are you?" I also looked at Liam curiously, expecting his answer. I saw him spit out 3 words carelessly. "Your father." I could barely catch my breath. He's a real drag. Max has changed. He's really changed. He was playing with something very new. The face of the punk at the entrance of the alley turned ugly as hell. Playing with us? Don't bullshit with us. The 3 of us happen to be short of internet fees. Hurry up and hand over all the money you have on you. Don't social media pay. We don't allow cell phones in our school. Liam put his hands in his pockets and moved his neck. His tone was mocking. "With you guys? Then let's go together. I'll let you all have one hand. If..." Before Liam could finish his sentence I slapped him on the back of the head. He covered his head and turned around, looking at me confused. "What's wrong? You still want to fight?" Liam sounded a little aggrieved. "They were the ones who started it. I hated it. Aren't you a boxer? You don't want to fight anymore? What about them?" I threw my bag into his arms, rolled down my sleeves, and looked at the 3 punks at the entrance of the alley with a smile that gradually became unrestrained. "Hold the bag for me. And let me go and let them see how sinister this society is." After a few minutes, the punks sat on the ground covering their heads and feet and cried out in pain. None of them could stand up. I thoughtfully patted them on the back. When my sister came out, "You were all in kindergarten. So remember next time. No more bullying the weak. Or you'll have to go to jail," said my hand gently raised. Stretched out the index finger pointing to the corner. "Right there, read aloud, study hard. Every day up. 100 times. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? The punks were already scared by me and didn't answer me. Do you hear me? I raised my voice. With a little cry. The punks immediately started shouting. Study hard and learn every day. I stifled a laugh and pulled Liam out of the alley. Liam straightened out my slightly wrinkled shirt. I forgot. You're good. I lifted my head to meet his eyes. So do you remember when you were little and I taught you the same thing? When I was little, Mrs. Davis thought I was the prettiest kid in the world and was afraid I'd be bullied. So she hired me a personal trainer to teach me taekwondo at a very young age. My acquaintance with Max. No. I should say with Liam began in elementary school. It was a small park and two groups of people were having a tense standoff over it. A little chubby guy rushed to the front. How dare you fight with me? Have you ever heard of my name? The childish voice pretended to be ferocious. I slightly raised my eyelids and stood at the front of our group with a small school bag on my back. Who are you? The little chubby guy puffed out his chest. The school bully of the second primary school. I laughed a little. Oh. What a coincidence. I'm the school bully of a small school. That argument was brought to an end by little Liam's honorable defeat. From that day on, he became my tail and followed me throughout middle school. Until the day of middle school graduation. I asked Liam to wait for me at the entrance of his school to find him. But I was stopped in my tracks by a good-looking boy. He shyly handed me a love letter. And so as not to blow his mind, I took it and said thank you. By the time I had resolved the matter and went back to Liam, he was no longer at school. He didn't show up again for quite some time afterward. I wanted to go to his house to look for him. But on second thought, I didn't know anything about him other than that his name was Max. So that day, Max disappeared from my youth. I no longer had a little tail. So when the changed Liam stood in front of me again, I didn't recognize him. I just thought he was a handsome little man with a bit of tug and a bit of poise. But I didn't realize that he was Max, who was muffled and doing great things. Liam's vest was stripped and I became instantly familiar with him. He sent me back to Ding's house. And when he arrived at the entrance of the courtyard, Liam bent down and gently carried my bag to me. And also put a handful of sugar in my hand. It was his habit of apologizing as a child. Is that paternity test real or fake? I couldn't help but ask after holding my tongue the whole way. Liam answered me seriously. It's true. I marveled. How did you find out? I marveled. How did you find out? I actually found out in middle school that you look a lot like those two from Siez. I look a lot like Mrs. Davis. Then why didn't you say so then? Liam avoided my eyes, not daring to look at me. I have my own plans. Your plan was to get engaged to me? So you want me to be your boyfriend? Liam asked me apprehensively. Of course not. Liam said in frustration. Why? It's because I'm getting skinny. Isn't it? No. It's because you smoke and I can't smell smoke. This was my excuse. But I didn't think Liam would take it seriously. He scratched his hair and explained awkwardly. I don't know how to smoke. This is for my act cocky. I pretended to smoke it when I saw you at the bar. Just to get your attention. Why did you think it would get my attention? They say guys who smoke are kind of cool. I couldn't help but laugh. Bullshit. Health is the most important thing. What about ruling that out? I thought about it and it wasn't the right time. Neither. Liam raised his hand and smoothed out my hair. Okay. I'll try harder then. Well, that one will try harder. I said as I ran through the gates of the courtyard. But the corners of my mouth rose uncontrollably. I had missed a few years with Liam. And I had no idea what he had been through in those years. So back at school I googled a lot of information about him. I didn't realize that he was quite famous. With hundreds of thousands of followers. All because of his striking face. But people who don't know about boxing still don't know about him. So that's why I didn't recognize him at all at first. People say he's the best looking of the boxers. And the strongest boxer of the good looking ones. No one could probably stand up from a single punch. And I was just watching in awe when my roommate came running in a hurry. Lemon. That Sophia is doing it again. I was still swiping through Liam's match videos. And was immersed in another side of his charms. When I heard the name, I couldn't place it. Who's Sophia again? That's the campus queen from our department. The one from the bar last time. I tried to remember. There is such a person. Thanks to her. Otherwise Liam and I haven't met yet. What about her? Didn't you read the school posters? It's all over the posters. It says her family's hooked up with Sterling Jewelers. And she might be marrying the Tsay family's youngest son. Tsay's? That's Tsay's. Do you know what Sterling Jewelers does? Sterling Jewelers is the leader of the entire jewelry industry. I know more than that. They're my blood-related parents. Who said that? Sophia said it herself. She's so proud of herself. She's got a school full of people trying to impress her. And her family sells jewelry. So now that she's connected, her family has taken a quantum leap forward. It's none of our business. But isn't it her birthday soon? She said she'd invite everyone to dinner and a KTV party. She named you on the posting bar and told you to come. I guess she lost face last time when she didn't ask for social media and now she wants to get it back from you. Lemon. Why don't we just not go and pretend we didn't see her? We can't afford to mess with her now that she's hooked up with Sia. Not going? I sneered. Heh. How can I not go? I have to go. A clown will always be a clown. My roommate looked confused. Lemon. What do you mean by that? I hooked my lips. Nothing. Just wait and see when the time comes. I'm going to make them slap my face. At the KTV, Sophia was surrounded by stars in the middle of the crowd. A reserved smile on her face. Ruwashi. I didn't realize your family was so well off. I didn't realize your family was so well off that you were married to Sterling Jewelers. Sophia pursed her smile. It's not that good. We haven't even gotten started yet. But it should be soon. As you know, my family originally sells jewelry. And I always run into Uncle Sia and Brother Sia at parties. So I'm familiar with them. I've heard that Ruwax's fiancé is a pro boxer. He seems to be a very good boxer. The kind who can win championships. The smugness in Sophia's eyes became more and more obvious. But she still had to pretend to be modest. She squirmed and said, Brother Sia is really good. He's got an important competition coming up. The kind where he'll win the championship. And I don't dare bother him lately for fear of delaying his training. Oh my God. A championship? Will Ruwashi be able to take pictures of us? Sophia nodded. Yes. I'll just tell Brother Sia. My roommate and I sat in the corner and watched Sophia's play. Suddenly Sophia called my name. Is Olivia here? Is she here? Then she looked around as if she couldn't see me. I laughed and said coldly. I'm here. Your sister. Can't you see someone so big? Sophia's face became embarrassed. But quickly returned to a smile. Olivia. You're so mean. I'm just concerned about whether you're here or not. By the way, I want to explain to you that I purposely made that boy not give me the social media he asked for at the bar the other day. Because as you know I'm about to get engaged to Sia's youngest son and I was afraid that Sia's brother would get angry so I purposely made him not give it to him that day. Heh. It made me laugh. Oh. Like that. I thought it's because you're ugly and people simply can't look at you. Sophia's expression was almost taut. And before she could say anything, her little follower couldn't sit still. How do you talk? Can that person not look at our Ruwashi? I think you're just jealous of our Ruwashi. After all, someone of your stature probably won't see Xia Xiao for the rest of his life. Hearing this, I looked at them coldly. Like they were clowns. Just as I was about to slap them in the face, the door to the KTV room was pushed open and a familiar figure entered. He has a straight figure. A clear jawline. And his collar is slightly open, revealing his sexy collarbone. It was Liam. The people in the box subconsciously didn't dare to speak because of his arrival. The sense of oppression on Liam's body was too strong. His body is guilty of coldness. There is a kind of uninviting feeling. The expression on his face is cold. The line of sight touches my figure. The coldness on his body all disappeared. His eyebrows and eyes hide the tenderness. Lemon lime. I was surprised. Why are you here? Liam's low voice fell. I heard you are here. I came to pick you up. This is just in time. Whose face will hurt more now? Someone has already started asking. Who are you? I glanced at Sophia. Seeing that she hadn't realized her current situation, I thoughtfully explained to everyone. He's what you call Xia Xiao. That's that great boxer. Sophia should know him. Right? Sophia then got a bad feeling. What did you say? I pointed my finger at Sophia and asked Liam. Do you know her? Liam lifted his eyelids slightly and looked at her indifferently. I don't know her. Oh. I don't know her. But she said their family is married to Xia's, eh? Liam frowned slightly. Looked Sophia up and down. His voice was filled with coldness. My Xia's family has only been married to Ding's family since the beginning. And my Xia's family's threshold is not something that any small family can climb up to. My fiancé is also only Olivia. Olivia is young Master Xia's fiancé? The crowd couldn't believe what they were hearing. There was a lot of chatter. Wait. 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 Ding who? My roommate exclaimed. Asking me in disbelief. Lemon. Your family isn't in real estate. Is it? I let out a disinterested aha. My roommate's eyes widened in surprise. Oh my god. It's really that Ding's. So you're actually the daughter of Ding's group? I smiled and nodded my head. My roommate slapped her face. Trying to clear her head. It's too low key. Isn't it? So the rich girl is right next to me. Even though I know your last name is Ding. I've never thought in the aspect of Ding's group. Lemon. I want to be your sycophant. You're too low key. If I were you, I'd stick my account book on my forehead for everyone to know. I laughed and interrupted. What are you talking about? Sophia still refused to believe me and tried to make a final struggle. Olivia. I know you're jealous of me. But even if you're jealous of me, you can't just find a random guy to pretend to be me. Isn't this the guy who asked for social media at the bar last time? How can he be Mr. Xia? The little follower on the side also jumped up in excitement. Yes. I still remember this guy. The one from the bar last time. Olivia's jealousy is really too strong. How can she pretend to be Ding's Missy? Olivia's jealousy is really too much. How dare she pretend to be the Miss Dings? Thinking that just because her last name is also Ding, she can be related to the Dings group? How can you be the Miss Dings? Never heard you say that before. How are you going to prove that you're telling the truth? Liam's tone was tinged with sarcasm. You really don't die until you reach the Yellow River. With that, he took out his cell phone and made a call. And coldly said 2 words. Come here. A minute later, the door of the box was pushed open again. A middle-aged man with a manager's license plate on his chest was wiping sweat and rushing here, followed by a group of staff. Pushing open the door of the box, the middle-aged man's line of sight crossed over the other people and led the staff directly to Liam and I. He quickly walked in front of us. Respectfully, he said, I didn't know that Mr. Xia and Ms. Ding had come to our store. And it was our fault for not welcoming them in time. Liam faintly I waved my hand and said it's fine. I didn't want to alarm everyone in the first place. But the middle-aged man didn't even dare to wipe his sweat. And bent down to apologize. It's the store's fault that we didn't entertain them well. And as a token of our appreciation, today's purchases by Miss Ding's friends will be free of charge. In the future, certain people will also be blacklisted and will never be able to enter this store. The manager's words made everyone here too surprised to speak. And the little follower mumbled. What Sophia said is false. So what's true? What is real? Sophia's face turned ugly. Her eyes were full of disbelief. And on closer inspection you could even see tears. Olivia. I knew you didn't have good intentions. What about trying to get at me all the time? I shouldn't have invited you to my birthday party. I was so stupid. Let me tell you. I'm not afraid of you. You're just rich. You do whatever you want just because you're pretty. Now everyone is centered around you. You're happy now. I had a stupid look on my face. This is the most ridiculous joke I've ever heard. I'm sorry. You're overthinking it. You're the most clearly stupid person I've ever met. And I do feel a little bad about taking the trouble to deal with you. Relax. Open up. There's a chance I don't give a damn about you. Sophia was about to argue. But I walked over to her and stuck out my index finger to gently block her mouth. Hush. Shut your little mouth. Be a good little princess. Don't make me angry. Or the consequences will be very serious. I heard that your family sells jewelry? It's a coincidence that my boyfriend's family is the boss of the jewelry industry. So be careful of breaking your family's goods. She said. Liam on one side took my bag from my best friend's hand. His tone of voice with undisguised doting. Lemon. Go home. I turned around. I know. The moment I walked out of the box. A hush came from behind me. Olivia turned out to be the rich white girl. What she said is true. That Liam is really handsome. Worthy of being the son of the Xia family. One look at his temperament and you know he's not ordinary. Sophia is the biggest joke I've ever seen. She posed as Mr. Xia's fiancé. But she doesn't even know what Mr. Xia looks like. What a shame. I took Liam's arm and went out of the box in a happy mood. I have to say. The feeling of act cocky is really a bit cool. After leaving the bar, Liam and I walked on the road without any words. The evening breeze was blowing on my face, bringing a slight coolness. Why are you here all of a sudden? I asked softly. Liam smiled. Came to back you up. I couldn't help but laugh. What a coincidence. Liam replied back without hesitation. It's not a coincidence. I'm here because you need me. I heard from Sophia that you've got a big competition coming up. Are you sure? Liam spoke in a low voice. I'm not sure. I stopped and asked him. Do you want to bet with me? Bet on what? Liam's tone was light. Lazy and careless. I bet you can win the game. What if I win? If you win, I'll be your girlfriend. Liam's steps paused, turned slightly, and lowered his eyes to meet mine, as if he was trying his best to suppress his emotions in his eyes. Ding Xiaolime. You have to be true to your word, or else I'll easily take it seriously. My eyes brightened. I always keep my word. Do you want to pull the hook? Liam's eyes became a little darker. His voice was low and deep. To pull the hook. He carefully and cautiously hooked my finger. I'm a man of my word. At the finals. The boxing match, which gathered the best fighters from all over the world, attracted all the media's attention. In the ring, the spotlights flashed incessantly and Liam's handsome face appeared on the TV screen. As I looked at him in the ring, I made a decision in my mind and took out my cell phone to dial Mr. Davis' number. A minute after hanging up the phone, the official websites of Ding's Group and Sterling Jewelers simultaneously announced the news of the marriage between Ding's daughter and Xia's youngest son, and used the official websites to cheer Liam brightly. For a while, the name Liam was pushed to the #1 hot search on the entire internet, blowing up all the diving netizens. Handsome man with handsome woman. The woman with the official website strong support is competing boyfriend stunned many netizens. The crowd exclaimed. What kind of novel setting is this? Even people who don't pay attention to boxing started to watch the match. And the heat of this boxing match was pushed to an unprecedented height by me. Eventually the match ended and Liam lived up to the hype as the youngest boxer to step up to the podium and wear his own Intercontinental Championship belt. The spotlight was on him as Liam looked into the camera and smiled broadly. A reporter put the microphone to his mouth. Mr. Xia is a great fighter. He gave us a great match. I'm sure the viewers in front of the TV must also be wondering if player Xia has never lost a match after achieving such good results in such a short time since his debut. Liam smiled lightly. I've only lost to one person. The reporter asked curiously. Who? The reporter asked curiously. Who is it? Liam's eyes casually fell in the distance, as if he was seriously recalling. A little girl. That was in elementary school. The reporter's eyes lit up, keenly sensing the hot news. That person must have been very important to Player Xia. Otherwise he wouldn't have remembered it until now. At the time, Liam didn't know what was happening online. Let alone that the internet had once again exploded because of that comment. He just mentioned me with a gentle look on his face. And Liam, who had just thrown a decisive punch, was weighing his words again and again. He looked at the camera as if he was sure I must be watching. Breaths are held all around, waiting for his answer. Liam spoke softly. She's someone who has been particularly important to me since I was a student. My only defeat. And my willing defeat. I listened quietly on this side of the TV as the memory of the chubby little man who would buy me ice cream gradually overlapped with the Liam on TV. I thought he had disappeared. But I didn't know he would come back so strongly. Back in my student days. The sun was shining and the robin was chirping its summer song. Trees on the path. Wearing a school uniform. I am walking in front of a happy pace. High tied-up ponytail with the size of the steps in the air with a good-looking arc. Behind me, a chubby teenager is walking carefully behind, holding a cool ice cream in his hand. After deliberating for a long time, the little teenager nervously opened his mouth. Ding Xiaolime. Do you want to eat ice cream in this hot weather? I turned back and pulled out a paper towel to wipe his sweat. Little fatty. From now on you don't have to go so far to buy me ice cream on such a hot day. The robin screamed louder and louder, masking the young boy's violent heartbeat. But that year's high summer was sung by them into everyone's memory. Everyone said that the robins were expressing their love unreservedly for the coward. End of article. A little colorful egg. Campus Queen Sophia took 7 turns and walked to the door of the innermost private room. Pushing open the door, she respectfully greeted the man inside who was playing billiards. Good day. Xing. Liam leaned down slightly, his wrists pressed against the table surface. The tip of the cue aimed at the white ball and touched it lightly. The white ball rolled forward and hit the other balls. Liam's set of maneuvers was smooth and fluid. Raising his jaw at Sophia, his cool voice rang out with an aha accompanied by the sound of the ball going into the hole. Sophia's face was pleasing. Mr. Xia, are you satisfied with everything you arranged for me to do? I'm almost in my element. Liam sat on the sofa and casually took the wine handed to him by a bystander. Smiled and spat out a few words. Not bad. Sophia took an inch and spoke tentatively. That day at the bar. For the sake of thanking you for your plan. The soles of my feet were taken advantage of by the person next to me. And now I still feel bad when I think about it. Liam hooked his lips. Not really caring. What do you want to go and talk to my assistant? This is what you deserve. Sophia's eyes lit up. Thank you, brother Liam. I wish brother Xing gets what he wants and chases after his little sister-in-law soon. Liam slightly raised his glass, tilted his head and drank the wine in one go. I borrow your good advice.